Hello everyone, it's Christine here and I am back to share progress on and do some further work on my Perpetual fabric calendar. So this is an idea I came up with to create a calendar that I can use in my craft room every year, which is made out of fabric and stitched and takes advantage of my fabulous, wonderful friend, the Pilot Frixion marker. I'm not sponsored by them, I just love using them, which erases with heat. So I can write on the calendar, write on the fabric, use it for the month, take a photo if I want to keep a record of it, put the little photo in a pocket or something at the back, and then I can erase it and it can be reused the following year because I've done it just with a grid, so it doesn't have the dates written in. It's just got January and then each of the days of the week and a little ideas column where I can jot my creative ideas down, and all I'll have to do is write in the dates for the given year that we're in. So this year I believe New Year's Day is on a Monday, so that would become 1. But if New Year's Day was on a Wednesday, you'd just start writing 1 there and then number it along. So it's got 5 sections down here to allow for the months that start part way through and then run through for across those sort of five weeks. And I've just done that in a grid formation. And then, yeah, it's each of the pages, so I'll end up with 12 fabric pages. Each of them will feature a Stitchery swap square from the Great Big Little Stitchery Swap, which was hosted by the fabulous Annie Claxton. And it's actually in its second round at the moment. So most of my squares are from the first round, but I have had a few Stitchery swaps as part of the second round. And I look forward to taking part in future rounds as well. So I'll take you down in a moment. I just wanted to give you the full view of it, but we'll come down, we'll have a look at it in closer detail, and then we'll do some work on the upper section, which will be lovely to be looking closely at the Stitchery swaps, and I'll also be sharing the swaps that I sent out as well. So close your eyes if you don't like being moved down. I'm going to do that now. Just put it down low enough that I can see. Straighten it just a bit better, hopefully. Okay, so I'll just sit down on my chair. I'm just going to have a sip of tea. So it's Boxing Day in Australia here when I'm filming it. So nice to be back in the craft room. I figured now that all the Christmas crafty things are done, I can get stuck back into this piece. So as you can see, I have done some stitching for all the letters. I used a split stitch because I just love the sort of braided effect that gives. Again, I use the split stitch to do the little stitching of the ideas. I've intentionally stuck with the colours that go with the Stitchery swap squares that I've selected for this. I chose some coordinating ones either in theme or colour. So in this case it's the blues with some accents of red and some accents of yellow. So they're the colours that I've used down for the grid, and each of the months will have its own colour scheme. And then I've done Ainu Running Stitch, which I'll make a note to link to the video of that, how to do that stitch. And I think I demonstrated that in one of the previous 2 episodes where I showed the thinking and the planning for this Perpetual calendar and was starting to stitch it. So I'll do that. I'll also link to the Stitchery swaps that I'm featuring here. So yeah, basically the pen will just be used to put the days on, and I can then write in my creative activities that I'm doing, ideas that I've got. I've also got a fun little idea of what I'm thinking of doing over here, what you can't see, over this section. But we might do that in a future video. And I've also got another fun idea of a little decorative element that I'm going to add as well, but we'll come back and do that, I think, separately. So today I want to talk about what I'm planning for the top of the calendar. So let me just bring that into frame. I'm just going to take you up a smidgen. Just close your eyes for a moment. Just so you can see all the squares. So these are the gorgeous squares from Kim or Kimberly, from Heidi and from the fabulous Annie Claxton herself, all fabulous ladies. And so I'll have those, and I'm planning to just stitch them on along the top where I've put these pins in, and hopefully not poking myself and not leaving any blood on my Perpetual calendar. I'll just have to stop that bleeding on my calendar. And then I'm going to underneath stitch down some little copies, transferred on copies of the squares that I sent out to each of the people whose squares are featured on here. So this is the square I sent to Kim. And so I've actually just used some what we call calico, I think you call it muslin in the US. I've used some of that and just used my Epson iron on cool peel transfer paper, where you print onto that and then you use the iron to transfer it over. I'm still not game to just do my own do-it-yourself printing in my printer, because it's a very good printer and I don't want to end up with fibres or problems in it. So I just stick with the Epson product for now. Eventually I might get past my phobia of that. I am going to look around to see if Epson do any actual fabric that you can print onto of their own type. But if you do have an Epson, it's an Epson, not inkjet, Epson Eco Tank, that's what it is. And it's an inkjet as well, but it's an Eco Tank. So if you've got one of those and you've got a good way to, or a good product that you use for printing onto fabric, definitely let me know. So yeah, the one for Kimberly I've done, and I've ironed that on. And what I did was I just printed onto a sheet of the transfer paper. But first of all, I just arranged myself a collage where I left a border around them. And the key thing to remember if you're doing this, and I made the mistake myself, so I'm telling you as a person that's done it, don't do it. You'll have to reverse your images so that when you transfer them, they come out the right way. So as you can see here, I had flipped the image and then printed it so it actually comes out with the KM in the right direction. If you don't do that, you'll end up with pieces that aren't in the right direction, like this one for Annie, which has the Love CO backwards. I'll still find something to do with it. I'm still going to keep my little other pieces from my first sheet that I didn't do the right thing on. I just didn't even think about it. I was so excited to kind of get going. And I think I was a little bit procrastinating because I always get a bit scared of using the special transfer paper, but it works really well. So I've actually ironed these ones on, and I just wanted to show you, once you've ironed it on, it's as simple as peeling it off. And there you go, beautiful little transfer. So that was the little neutral square that I sent to Heidi. I like that there's kind of a commonality of colours there. And then we've got Annie's square that I sent to her. The first square that I sent out, actually. And there it is. You can even see the fabric that I had around it, which was a vintage sort of bedspread. So that's around there. So basically I want these to be hidden underneath, but when you flip up to see the back of the pieces, and some of the pieces have lovely, I mean, they all have lovely backs on them because they've all got beautiful stitching, but look at this beautiful one on the back of Kim's, beautiful stitching on the back of Heidi's, and then Annie's put this lovely little like a little dignity cloth, and then you flip it back and it says Peekaboo Annie 2023, and it's just lovely. Both Annie and I love looking at the back sides of our pieces. So I'll leave those pinned on there. I'll try not to poke myself again. And then I'll position these so they are sort of, because what I would then want to do is do a little collage around these pieces with some of the saved fabrics and threads from when I created the squares that I sent out. So I've got Annie's scraps, the scraps from the square that I made for Annie. Sorry, no, that's Kim. Then I've got Annie's scraps. I was like, that's not the right colours for Annie's, including the little pom-pom braid that I used. And then I've got the scraps from Heidi's one. And so I want to kind of put some of those around so they become like a little sample of the squares that I sent out. So let me get rid of those bits of paper. So what I might start by doing, I think, is just getting these positioned down, and I'll use my good friend Yoo-hoo glue just to just temporarily stick them down while we work out how we want to collage around them. I'm going to grab my friendly book. I normally use my dictionary of stitches to glue onto because it's a wipeable cover. So what I'm going to do is just put a dab of glue on. I really just want just enough, and I'm not going to be stitching into the center, so I can actually put a little bit more on there because I won't need to stitch over it. And then I'll just want to line it up so that when it's down, probably just a smidge up higher, because I want to sort of leave an equal distance around it for the decorating of it. And yeah, I just used calico, which I just tore and then left the nice little fringy edges on because I really love the look of fringy edges. So again, I'll just put a tiny bit in the corners, put a bit more here. And this doesn't form a strong bond. I've always found you can yeah, pull it off with the Yoo-hoo. So it's really just to hold it, but I prefer stitching into it than I do if I use like a heat and bond or a what's the other one that the collage quilter uses, a steamer seam. It just doesn't feel, yeah, it doesn't feel as good to me to stitch into. Go. So it's so lovely to be revisiting these pieces because they are just absolutely lovely. So I do encourage you to check out, if you didn't watch the stitches as they arrive, check out the videos of the folks that sent me theirs, or if you want to see my ones as well. I created videos for each of them, so I'll link to those in the description. So there we go, that's done. I'll keep my glue out because I think I'll probably then end up using the glue to start to start tacking down the pieces that I'll then stitch down. So let's start with Kim's. Hopefully you can see, I think you can see it all. So I might just start arranging a few bits around of the different colours. The ones that are the same I'll put back in for now. A little bit of that one. I think I've got a bigger piece of that. I do. Got another piece of that. That blue, I might just grab my scissors. So I was thinking just sort of like a scrappy technique to use. Maybe just nice, and maybe I'll make little triangle-y shapes. Okay. Got this lovely bigger piece of fabric, which was yeah, the background for the piece. So I might just get rid of, make a nice fringy edge on it perhaps, and then I might even try and tear another piece of it. So I thought this was a fun idea as I did it. I didn't quite know exactly what I was going to be creating at the end. Originally I thought it would be a book or something, but I pondered and pondered on it, and that's when I came up with the idea of this perpetual calendar that I can use year after year and enjoy the stitchery pieces. And yeah, I just love how the grid has come out. The Ainu Running Stitch is just so lovely. And in those previous videos I showed how I ruled the grid and got that ready. I'll just do a section of that like that. Probably do a bottom section as well. Keep all those out. A bit of red. Oh, that was off one of the little tags. I think that was off the end of this little tag that ran across, or this little belt that ran across the piece. So keep those out. Don't think I need that one. I sent Kim some ticking as well because she loves ticking, and so this is a little This was from Betty. I got this ticking. So I'll just put a bit of that on as well. Yet to arrange all this. I just thought I'll get the pieces on first, and then I can arrange them. Got some lovely orts as well, some threads. I'll keep those off. Got some of the beautiful Wonderfill Suspago threads. Don't know if I can't remember. I don't think I used any lace. I think that might have come out of someone else's bundle. Did I use blue? No, I didn't use blue lace either, so that's not out of Kim's. Bit of gold thread. I think I did use gold thread somewhere. I don't remember. Starting to rain here. Some more of this beautiful golden colourful fan-like fabric. Don't know if you can hear that rain coming down. It's starting to come down quite heavily. Some parts of Australia have had a really bad flooding sort of rains. Poor folks in Queensland. Don't know how well you'll be able to hear me because it is definitely coming down very strongly here. Probably got way too many scraps of fabric, but anyway, I think I've kind of got most of the selection now. I haven't got that one, I don't think. If I need them, I'll put them back in my little container. If not, they can go in my very micro, I can chop them up into my little micro scraps, which I made my Scrappy snail out of at one point. Got my orts here, so I can make a little nest. So, all I have to do is make sure that I stay out of the broader area where the square, so that will be my sort of my border area where I don't want to go beyond that. So I'm just going to put a little marking in just so I know where I don't want to go beyond. And again, this is with my Frixion marker, so it is heat erasable. So I'll just put a little border, not that far along. We want to keep it a little bit further in than that. So that's my area to work in, so I don't want to go too far down the bottom. So I guess I can just start to put some pieces down. Again, I'll just use my book to glue onto because I can wipe the cover off. And I'll just set it in a tiny bit from where I've drawn my border. And again, I'll be stitching over these, but for today I thought we'll just do some fabric collage together, and then we can always come back and do the decorative stitching together. And yeah, the good thing about the Yoo-hoo glue, if I really don't like how I've laid them out, I can easily come back and pull them off. They're not a secure bond. Actually extend this a bit further over this way. I think. Probably actually should put something under that little tip there, hoping you can still see. I think you can. So I hope you all had a lovely festive celebration with your family and friends if you were celebrating. We had a lovely day, hosted everyone here, ate way too much, prepared way too much food, but the wonderful thing is that we have so much lovely food in the fridge now that we'll be eating leftovers for the next few days. So no cooking for me, which means more crafting time, although I am back to work tomorrow. I've doing the over Christmas working period. Fortunately, yeah, others in the team hadn't had leave in recent years, so as in Christmas leave, so thought, I'll do the shift and they can have a good break and a good recharge. Hopefully this might give you some ideas. Even if you didn't take part in the Stitchery swap, you could still make this perpetual calendar, and then you could do your own stitcheries that you add to it throughout the years. Or you could just add a piece of favourite fabric up the top, or you could actually use it as a space to do your own little sampler stitching for the month. All sorts of possibilities. You can also get these great, let me just grab them. So I've just picked one out the other moment when I was doing a bit of tidying up. You can get these little stitchery designs. You can also download them for free, find them online. If you've got a library membership, a lot of the embroidery and other magazines give you little designs that you can use. But you could just do your own little stitcheries and put them across the top, or draw yourself just your own little stitchery designs, or do your own stitchery swap squares that you keep for yourself. So lots of possibilities. Or take part in the next stitchery swap with Annie Claxton. All the stitcheries from this one need to be sent out by the end of this year, so folks will be busy stitching if they're still trying to get their squares out. I mean, it's not a hard and fast deadline, but that was the plan. As I say, I didn't take too many stitchery swaps on this second round because I did 23, I think, in the first round. Have to cut off the end of that because we don't want it going over the line. Cut this one in half. So yeah, nothing goes to waste in my craft room. I do sometimes throw away the odd scrap of fabric, but sometimes it's these little scraps. They're so nice to work with because you feel very free using them because they're not big bits of fabric, which sometimes you don't want to chop into for some reason. But these just make you feel very free, and sometimes it's just the little scraps where you can just see a nice little design element and really focus on that. I do love this colourful fabric here, it's so nice. So I'll use a bit of that down here, I think. Maybe my ticking can go up the top. It doesn't entirely go with the brights of everything else, but seeing I sent some ticking to Kim, it would be nice to include. Actually, it's a nice link to the blues in the piece above. Forgot to bring in my little hand towel to wipe my hands, so you'll just hear me going like this with my fingers when I get the glue on them. Hopefully this is a nice relaxing thing if you're either just recovering from the festivities or just wanting a bit of downtime. You might be hopefully doing some of your own crafting. I just love having peaceful videos like this on when I'm doing my own crafting and having someone chatting away to me in my craft room. My crafting is definitely my recharge time, so I'm not sure how I'd go if I was actually like entertaining someone. That might be a bit exhausting, but having my stitchy friends in the room with me virtually, that's a great way to do it. And then reading comments from folks afterwards, it's a lovely way to feel connected. Oh, I love how that bit's come together with the little triangle going over those bits. So you can see you can start to fill up the area quite quickly with little scraps. I feel like something needs to go along here. here. Oops, the threads are trying to stick to my fingers. I wonder if I can fit that in there, but take like a little chunk of it out to be the corner piece maybe. Let's see how we go. Freehanding a corner. Oops, still got some thready bits attached. Yeah, that'll work I think, but I probably need to put something in there first of all. What colour haven't I got up that end? Put that on. Where was I putting it there? Wasn't I? Putting that like that. Yep, that'll work. Oops, maybe I do need to, might still need another little bit of something in here. Or do I just I might bring that back a little bit. Pop that there, and then I'll put another little sliver of maybe green. All these colourful fabrics, the pink and the blue, they're all a coordinating bundle that I got a while ago from the reverse, oh not the reverse art track, from the Sewing Lair online op shop. Not really colour coordinating, but they're all different colours and had a similar design on them, so they went together well. Now I still need to put something down there. I might put a bit of pink. Yeah, it was lovely making this square for Kim. She's been such a good friend. Been part of our little stitch along community. In fact, all the squares were an absolute delight to make for Heidi, and for obviously for the wonderful Annie, who kicked off the whole shenanigans of the stitchery swap. Just the most wonderful shenanigans. It was just, yeah, just such a inspired idea. Now I've got blue over there, so I don't think I need blue there. What else do I want from my scrappage? Could probably use another bit of green. Wondering what shape I should make. Oops, knocking over my glue. That would work up there, I think. It's got a nice little frayed edge on it. The other good thing about using the Yoo-hoo is it does just sort of seal the edges a little bit. I feel like I need to put something down here, so I might use another bit of pink. I think down there, or maybe the blue. So I didn't quite follow the edge of the piece there, which I think I want to fully frame the piece. Yeah, if you haven't tried this scrappy collaging technique, I have a lot of fun with it. So I strongly encourage giving it a go. I use it like that. And as you can see, you don't have to think about it, you don't have to plan it out. You can just, if you've got some coordinating, and the great thing about this is that I know it all sort of coordinates together. As I say, the ticking is probably the little exception to that, but I reckon I can even just maybe add a few more little speckles up to where that is, just to kind of blend it in a bit more, but still have the hint hint of ticking. I think that will be really beautiful. Wow, look at that. I am actually, yeah, really pleased with that. That will be great. I probably still need actually something down there. Just noticed I still have a little crack. In fact, I haven't used any of this this red. So maybe I need to take a waddle of that. I'm actually thinking I might be better even having the red up the top, so I'm going to save that little piece, because then it'll sort of blend up nicely into there. At least the rain stopped. It was going to be 25 degrees, so I think it will get quite humid outside. As I've said before, we normally have quite hot, dry northerlies in summer, but it's been a very damp start to summer this year. So that's that. And then what I'm thinking is when I start to stitch them down, I could use some of these threads which are long enough, or I can couch some of them down as well. So that would be my plan for those. So I'll keep the threads back in Kim's little container, the container of Kim's. And then I've got this little bundle of orts that I had saved as well, including some, I must have used some metallic purple thread as well, unless it came off one of the fabrics. But I'm thinking I might just do a little cluster or something down there. So I might just put a pin in or something for the now to hold that in place. So I'll just need to put some stitches in that. Oops. Doesn't want to quite pin through my fabric. So that's that one. So I hope you like that, and then we will continue on. I'll put the container down, and we'll move across to the next one. I'll get rid of the transfer fabric. Hopefully you can still see it there. So, yep. Just tap it and make sure it's in focus. And I'll grab the Heidi container. Going to have a sip of tea as well. I love having a cup of tea when I'm crafting. I know it's probably not right to keep it on the bench with you, the craft desk. Seeing I've got a fold in this fabric, I'll just put a little cut there, so it'll be easier than working with the fold. Cut myself a little triangle. Might do a square as well. And that's probably enough of that one. I've got in this one some lovely little lacy pieces, including some quite old laces. So I'll definitely make sure I use those. Some old bits of doily as well. Keep the little ort separate. Got this one. Oh, that's right. That flower was cut out of this fabric here. So again, I might do a little triangle. And I'll do a rectangle. Probably enough of that one. And then I've got another one that I used as well. Just cutting nice little shapes out. Because this one's also got a print on it, I'll sort of just keep the nice little printed element as well. Keep the laces whole. Don't think that was actually from that one. A little faintly brown printed fabric. So Might even try and tear a strip of that, I think. I'll be able to tear it across this way. Oh yeah, mostly okay. Probably only need one strip of that, I think. Some more little lace fragments. Little border fragments. Some more lacy bits. This was from one of the fabrics I used, I'm pretty sure. Ah, and another one of those flowers. There must have been two in the fabric. I think I've done those ones already. Already got some nice little pre-scrappy cut things because I would have been cutting out of this little fabric. Got some more bits of lace to pull out. These ones almost look like little hearts. And then I feel like I should get a little bit of my, let me see if I've got any in my scrap jar. Can't see any drifting around, but otherwise I'll go and get a piece of that. If I can see where it is. A little bit of my measuring tape would be great to add. Let me see if it's tidied up my room recently, and I'm just trying to see where I have actually put it. I know I've put it somewhere. Over here. No, I did not put it there. Where did I put it? That is the question. That is always the grand question. Well, if I find it and when I'm stitching it down, I can always add it in then, unless I've got a piece in my drawer of assorted vintagey bits and pieces. Excuse me while I rifle around, as I am wont to do. I don't think that is there at the moment, so let's put a little bit of this one in a beautiful natural colour scheme. Just having a look if there's any other scraps with nice little design elements on them. And there's lots of nice orts, lots of loose threads, a few more nice bits of lace as well, a bit of the blue fabric, which should be good, but I think otherwise that's probably enough out of the scraps. And let's get going with sticking them down. So I might save the laces to put on over the top of the fabrics, I'm thinking. Oops, helps if I stick on the back, not the front. And I haven't drawn my little line around this one to show where I want to stay within the realms of. Guess I'll just do it to the same level down the bottom. I don't need to even go a bit further in than that. Okay, so that's my sort of area to work in, so I can actually add some more on the outer there. Yeah, I'll take it up to about the same level I think as this one goes, which is approximately across there. As you can see, sometimes as I'm putting them down, I just decide to position them somewhere else. I do love my frayed edges on things. Such a fun textural element. Not that you can really see the frayed edges now on these pieces because I've actually gone right down over them. It's a pity, I don't think I saved any of the, this is a beautiful Three Sisters fabric, but I don't think I've kept any of that out. Okay, maybe I'll use that on this side because it'll fit in a bit better. I'm actually thinking if I can just excuse me for a moment while I see if I can grab the Three Sisters fabric. I think I remember folding it the other day and putting it in the drawer here, but if it's not within easy reach, I've got some of that number fabric actually, so I might use that. Just rifling through my fabric drawers here, keeping an eye out for where that Three Sisters fabric is. So much fabric, it's the perpetual challenge of how to curate it so you can easily put your hands on it. These were the ones I used in the stitcheryswap, so it might be here. I'm not seeing it straight away. It's a beautiful tan colour, the piece that I'm looking for. I can't readily see it, but I did find this beautiful number fabric which I used on this piece here, so I'm going to take myself a little slice of that, I think, even though it wasn't technically a scrap. I'm going to sample it. So this is my technique where I fold them around a postcard, an old postcard I had from when I used to teach cooking classes, and I make a little pocket and then fold them over and into themselves, and it keeps them nice and neat in the drawer where I keep them. There's my transfer sheet. With me, you get to see me wandering around my room looking for, well, not really see me, you just get to hear me wandering around looking for things. Actually, maybe this is where you'll get to see how easy it is to actually remove one that you've added with the Yoo-hoo glue. You can just peel it off like that and it comes off easily. Doesn't come off as easily when it's stuck to your finger with a thread stuck to it. That's the only thing. We should actually fray this edge a little bit as well. Let's do that before we stick it down. Come on, threads off my fingers. Okay, I'll reapply this one. Just make sure, yep, we're still staying within the bounds. Yeah, do grab yourself a face washer that's dampened before you start this, so you can wipe your fingers, wipe the glue off your fingers as you go. It will definitely make your job easier. So I've got the threads caught to my arm as well. It's all happening here, folks, all happening. Now, I might actually take, maybe I will use this long, I do like this little striped fabric. I think it came originally off an old pillowcase or something, but it's very sweet. Little goldy coloured stripe, but a nice natural gold, more like a tan almost. I'll be joining up with that one, so maybe I don't want to join it quite as much. See, and the great thing is you can kind of lift a piece and fold something else under it if you want to, like I did there. Maybe not quite as much of that, I don't think. Might use it back down here like I was planning to. I think. Okay, probably don't need that piece. Maybe I can use my nice little tan piece down here. That one almost feels like a wool felt, but I think it was a little fabric sample from the reverse art truck. So are others finding now that you might have finished doing like Christmas crafting and you're now feeling like you can get back to some of your other projects? I've still got quite a bit to do on my Roxy Journal of Stitchery treasure hunt piece. I want to keep working on that because I've got I'm adding lots of family references. I actually found some amazing things on our National Library of Australia, I think it is. On the exact name, but I found like my grandpa's war record, found my granny on my dad's side was enrolled in the women's army, like that went and filled sort of the roles that men were doing before they went to war, and found her photo from just amazing stuff. So yeah, I've got lots of further ideas I want to add to that piece, and more research I want to do. It was a bit like falling down a rabbit warren. It actually happened because I was listening to a radio program and they were talking about Bonegilla, which is where Alex's mum first came out to when she migrated to Australia after the war, essentially as a were they refugees? I guess they were. And yeah, they were talking about Bonegilla, and I actually then went onto their website and found her family's arrival card. Unfortunately, no photos on it, but it was still, yeah, pretty amazing to find that. And then that linked me over to this, I think it's the National Library of Australia site, where I then found these other incredible, of my family's records. So I still need to fully sort of dive in, because my grandpa on my dad's side, he was a prisoner of war actually. made it happily home to Australia, but I'm sure there'll be, yeah, his war record as well. Can't imagine that, but I guess we can imagine that given the atrocities that are going on in the world at the moment. But it's not a happy thought, is it? We kind of hope that we learn from wars and don't repeat them. So I've actually got the calico underneath that little area, but I'm not too worried because this is a very neutral coloured piece anyway. Whereas with the bright piece, I would have been able to really see if I had the calico, but I'm also going to be laying the lace over the top too. I'll use that one over there. Tell I love this little one because I do keep wanting to add it onto different places. Put a little bit of that there too, I think. Maybe a bit lower so I don't obscure the numbers. No, maybe not. No, I don't love it there, so I'm not going to use that. Okay. So yeah, with the laces on, you need the tiniest little smudgeroo to attach them on. I think it's going to look lovely just with, and it just shows like with these laces, never throw even, oh, there's this little bit of this flower. I definitely want to add that on. But yeah, with your laces, never even throw out the smallest pieces because you'll see how useful they are. Got that coming out from here. I love that because then I've got that element just coming across the piece. So stick a bit of a doily over here. You probably can't even see where I'm gluing down here, sorry about that. I love this idea of creating a little sampler of the fabrics you've used, the laces you've used. And I love that these will be hidden. It's kind of nice that they'll be there to be discovered, because a lot of my works have little secret or not so secret pockets in them, but yeah, little pockets, little surprise elements in them. See, that's just a tiny little fragment of lace, but it is lovely to include. And what I'm going to do is that when I stitch them just do a whole lot of little stitches over to hold everything in place. You can also make the stitching sort of evident as well if you want, when I did my little slow stitch nail, I used a metallic thread so you can see all the stitches. So on some of them on this one I might use a more visible metallic. Put all my little, if I can, put all my little lacy bits over because I think they're lovely skerricks. Although I might run out of room, I've still got quite a few bits of lace left, and I suppose I can't cover the whole thing in lace. I need to tuck this little one underneath this one, I think. It's a bit tricky to handle the lace because it sticks to your, when you're putting the glue on, it sticks to your fingers as well as the piece. Probably can't fit all of these on in their whole form, so I'll just snipperoo them a little bit. That's probably too much actually to use. I've had most of these laces on, so I'm okay if I don't use those. And then I've got my little orts, my little threads, as well as with some fabric tied up in it. I'll just do a little thread cluster. I might position it somewhere different, I guess, or would it look nice? No, I think I might put it up over here. I think it will still sit down okay over. Yeah, I'll just stitch it down well. Put it over there, I think, if it doesn't stick to my fingers in the process. Stick that in there. Now we're almost at the hour mark, so I won't go and collage the Annie piece now. I'll do that off camera, come back and then show you as I've stitched these ones down, and then we might do the stitching on the Annie piece together, and if there's time after that I can talk about some of the other exciting plans I have for this particular calendar, because I just keep having ideas as I sit and work on it. So it is going to be a treasury of stitchy friendships, which I think is going to be the theme for the year, stitchy friendships. We've got our little Facebook group, which was where we originally had our little community for the Stitchalong, the Dictionary of Stitches, which we finished just before the end of last year, but the community is very keen to stay in touch, so we've renamed it to Stitchy Friendships group, and I'll include a link to that as well in the description below in case you haven't found us and you want to come over and check it out. And we would love to see you, and it's just a place to share your stitchy inspirations, what you're creating, as well as other things. Like I've shared recipes in there when I was doing my Christmas cooking and someone wanted a recipe, so it's just a place we can connect and enjoy each other's company as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that's given you some fun inspiration of how you can use your scraps and create lovely little frames, or even entire pieces just from scraps, and then stitch into it, and how different they can be from the brights to the quite neutral tones, and then we'll be back to the brights over here. So I'll see you soon with another video. It could even be tomorrow. Thanks everyone. Bye.